Cheated on husband a long time ago. Admitted it recently. I need help moving on. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe, so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Cheated on husband a long time ago. Admitted it recently. I need help moving on. Stats: relationship for 6 years, married for 2. Male 28 and female 25. Me. I had an affair of humans after our marriage. I believed he hated me for a forced marriage. My parents were very vocal about us getting married, to the point of making a scene at a Christmas dinner when we announced that we were moving in together. The next day, he proposed and was generally miserable due to the state of our life, which I mostly thought was fine, sometimes fun, but no. He kept saying he hated his life, and it took that personally. I stopped attempting to look at the right side of things and just allowed us to follow in misery. Even if things were looking up for us, I stopped believing that anything was good about us, and that we made a horrible mistake getting married. I found solace with a coworker. Their fear lasted a month, with the first half being emotional and the last hub turning physical. During that time, I was also habitually taking cocaine with another coworker. At first, it was fun and games. Then it turned to be a numbing agent for the issues I was having at home, and later for numbing my actions for cheating on my husband. At home, I lashed out at my husband. If he was miserable, well, so was I. I chuckled all of the happy moments that I had held onto out the window, and was angry at him 24/7, to a scary extent. Thinking back on it now, I'm frightened at how dark I became. I spent his money. I yelled and screamed at him about how just miserable I was. I wanted him to leave me, because I was due with chicken shit to do it myself. Finally, I sat him down and told him I was in love with someone else. I told him it was my coworker, and waited for his reply before I went on. Instead of the ivory, he said, he wanted to work it out, that he loved me, and we could get through it. I was impressed and humbled that he still wanted me. I fell in love with my husband all over again in that moment, and all my actions became hard to reel to me. I made a choice at that moment that I'm not sure was the best. I decided not to tell him about the fact that I slept with another man. Immediately after the conversation, I reinvented myself. I kicked the coke habit cold turkey. I could have all contact with my coworkers later, left my job and focused on making his home alive as great as possible. These last 2 years have been the best for both of us. He's working his dream job. We're paying off debt quickly and saving a lot of money. Moved closer to the city to begin adventures, and we've had so many wonderful, truly wonderful moments. I initially decided to take a secret to engrave with me, never telling him, but instead dedicating my life to making our marriage work and becoming someone he could be proud of. About 3 months ago, I attempted suicide. Everyone was blindsided, but the repression of this secret was seeping out, and my self-hatred was out of control. Even then, I refused to have to tell anyone, including my therapist, about airfare. I was put in medications, and after an especially positive, life-changing road trip that we took with friends, I knew I had been living in borrowed time. That no matter how happy he was at telling me he was and how wonderful of a wife I was, I still robbed him of a choice of being happier without me. Last week, I told him that more had happened with my coworker. I can't erase the expression he gave me from my mind, and I don't think it will ever leave. Read it? I hurt him so badly. I never ever wanted to hurt him so badly. I was the fool to ever think this day wouldn't come, and to fool to have ever sprayed. He's the best thing that ever happened to me. His reaction was calm and controlled. After being silent for a while, he said he wanted to work it out. Mostly over the fact that the last 2 years of our life were the best he's ever had, according to him, and that I had changed to a large degree from who I used to be. He wants to work it out, though not through Capel's therapy, as I was suggested, but by moving on with our current great life. You're not looking back, especially. He told me to keep doing what I've been doing, continuing with my therapy, continuing with school, and my weight loss plan, and would be fine. Along with the repression of the secret, Ibakla Allah, self-hatred, regret, and depression had finally caught me up with. I was 51/50D overnight last week, by my psychiatrist, as he feared I would hurt myself. His mother and my family found out about the affair through this episode, all of whom agreed with my husband. I should move on from this. I'm happy every time I see my husband after he gets home from work, when he wakes up in the morning, and he's complimenting the fact that there's no growing dark cloud over my head anymore. My eyes are brighter. My smile is bigger. He believes this is the beginning of a greater chapter in our life together. Everything is better than expected. So why? When I'm alone, do I go insane? I quite non-stop over the fact that I hurt him, that I deserve none of this, that I've already lost him, and it's the only matter of time before he leaves me. I'm frightened of the fact that he stayed with me. I went to yell quite loudly for him to run away, far away and quickly. I know if I don't get over these emotions, our relationship doesn't have a chance. I don't want to sabotage it anymore. Read it. How do I move on? How do I begin forgiving myself?